welcome to Michael Skisson Stories. I have another bomb story for y'all today, but before I begin, y'all hit that like button, the subscribe button, that share button, hit that notification bell so when I'm dropping these stories, you guys will be informed. Pass me around Facebook, Instagram, and all other social media platforms, and y'all know how I feel about my chizzing. If you guys would like to support the channel, Cash App, $Michael US. Also, check out my Spotify podcast, the 250 Gemstones Culture Podcast. Link is in the description. Y'all stay and watch the whole video. We need to talk. Oh man, racist police officer. Oh yeah, they everywhere. They get away with a lot of stuff. They get away with a lot of mischief, a lot of shenanigans, a lot of corruption. But there was none that takes the cake like Mr. Brandon O'Connor. Brandon O'Connor is one of the most ruthless police officers that Cleveland, Ohio has ever seen. Ooh, that man was terrible. Terrible. His rap sheet goes so long. He's been getting away with it for years. This is back in the 90s. And this dude has had a long rap sheet of jacking black men up, blacks and Latinos. And anybody pretty much that wasn't white, you was gonna catch the business if you was in his district. If he was assigned an area, believe that area was gonna get towed up. Believe somebody's behind was gonna have his boots on it or in it. Goddamn. So Brian O'Connor had a daughter, Lindsay O'Connor. And what was so shocking was that she was much different from her dad. Now, both of her parents, they were with the KKK and all that stuff. They wasn't upfront with the KKK part, but it's obvious they were part of the Klan. Or at least they believed in the Klan's philosophy. But for whatever reason, even when she was small, she has rejected their ideology towards black people and just the human race in general. She had her own mind. And because she had her own mind, her dad, would sometimes make her feel like she wasn't part of the family. The mom pretty much sided with the dad only because that was her husband. The mom was into it, but she wasn't really into it. She's just going to support her husband because he's paying the bills. She got a place to stay, and that's her husband. Been knowing each other for 30 plus years. They've been married for 25 years. So this man is all she knows. But Lindsay O'Connor, she wasn't going for it. As the years went on, Brian O'Connor has gotten worse and worse. And he gotten so bad, even his racist superintendents let him know you're doing a little bit too much. We do have an agenda to lock up black folk and Latinos and everybody else, especially black folk. But you're doing a little bit too much. So he calmed down a little bit, but he never really let his foot off the gas. One day, this hit Mr. Brian O'Connor in a way he would never thought in a million years would hit him. Lindsay had a black boyfriend, but Lindsay never told her racist police officer daddy that she had a black boyfriend, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of arguments. So to bypass all the arguments, she never brought it up, but it was word around town. Word spread fast where they from. A little bit on the outskirts of Cleveland. So you got the major city and you got the rural areas. Got a lot of relatives coming in and out the city, and word spread fast, especially with the police officers, school. So word's getting around back to Brian O'Connor that his daughter is dating the N-word. So one day Brian O'Connor, he pulls Lindsay to the side. He said, "Hey, Karen," we could say her name is Karen O'Connor. He said, "Babe, I need to go talk to Lindsay real quick in private." And Karen's okay. So Brian, the dad asked his daughter, "It got back to me that you're dating a blackie. Is that true?" And Lindsay looking around like, "Man, I knew this was gonna come," but she really didn't want to answer. So he asked again, "Dude, are you dating a blackie?" And Lindsay said, yes, I am. She said, yes, I am, sir. He lost it. Man, I can't believe after everything I've taught you, everything I've showed you, observable evidence, I have to chase these, blah, 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 every single day. I'm risking my life, and you're going to bring them home? She's like, I never brought him here. He doesn't even know you're a cop. It's just, I don't even know how this even got out. We've been very discreet, but yeah, he's black. I don't see the problem. The dad, what do you mean you don't see the problem? Blah, 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 rah, 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 rah. And the mother comes in, and she had to get him up out of there, get him out the room. She had to get him out the room. He couldn't believe it. When he really started turning up. Right? He really started turning up. Lindsay and her black boyfriend, they have now at this time, so at the time that he found out, they're already dating for 3 months. And her dad turning up. So this is about 3 or 4 months later. You know, he still can't believe it. He did everything to discourage her from dating her black boyfriend. He wanted to know who he is and blah, 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 and this and that, but he could never get no information. He just knew that he was black. He just knew that he was black. So one night, he's on patrol, and the mother he's working the late night. Karen, she fixes dinner. Everything's looking good. Meatloaf, corn, potatoes. She knew he's gonna pull a double. It was late night. He's gonna work a double, and everybody's at the family table, but it wasn't acting like a family. Everybody was there. You know how you eat with your family. You kind of just going through the motions. Yeah, get this over with. I'm gonna go back to my room. That was the vibe. So the dad was eating, and he's looking at Lindsay. So, you still talking to that blackie, huh? And she said, Dad. And Karen tapped him on the shoulder. Just leave her alone. Like she likes what she likes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Brian's like, whose side are you on, Karen? She said, I'm on your side, but that's still our daughter. He said, what's it gonna take for me? He said, what's it gonna take for you to break up with him? Out of all the good white boys out here, I just don't understand why. Are you doing it just to make me mad? I mean, what is your angle? And he just kept pressing her. And Lindsay was like, no, I just like him. Now, can we please drop it? And he's like, whatever. He took a few more bites. The daddy took a few more bites. He got up, kissed his wife, slammed the door, walked out the house. Stormed out of there. The very next morning, remember he worked overnight. He did 16 hours, or was supposed to do 16 hours. But the next morning, the news was on in Cleveland. Oh, it was breaking news. Breaking news. 3 black teenagers were gunned down. One in critical condition, the other 2 were deceased at the scene. They were dead on sight. Now, word got out through the news media outlets that it was the officers that did it. So as they're watching the TV, now Lindsay and her mom, Karen, they're watching the news. And they were sitting there looking, they looked at each other like, oh, please don't let it be Brian. Please don't let it be Brian. They're more concerned about Brian than them 3 black boys, given that that's her husband, that's her father. The way he stormed out that house, the way he kept pressing Lindsay about her being with a black boy, all his racist rhetoric, 3 black teenagers shot by officers. I mean, they're putting it together, but they didn't want to put it together. And as they were watching the news, Brian O'Connor's face was on the damn news. That's right. Brian O'Connor, Lindsay's father, Karen's husband. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. They couldn't believe it. And what they also couldn't believe, one of the three black males was Lindsay's boyfriend. The news reporter said, "Oh, we have three black males gunned down, one in critical condition. The two others were dead on the scene. We have one, Dante Omar, and the other one, Jacob Williamson." Jacob Williamson was Lindsay's boyfriend. Lindsay let out a scream because the mother didn't know who Lindsay's boyfriend was either. See, they were both in high school. They were both sophomores in high school, but he went to a different high school. This is why it was so hard to pinpoint what was going on. Because he went to a different high school, the mom didn't know either. And when the news reporter said Jacob Williamson, Lindsay let her scream. I mean, it was loud. She got up and she ran to her room. It didn't stop there. Throughout the day, now see, Brian O'Connor, he never came home. See, he's supposed to be home at 8. He left at 8 at night. He's supposed to be here 8 or 9 in the morning. But see, here's the thing: as the news reporters became were unleashing the news, more information about the three teens came about. So Jacob Williamson was the valedictorian of his high school. Never been in trouble. He loved to play chess. He was into sports. He was into a little bit everything, but he was a very smart man. His parents were doctors. Both his parents were doctors. Both of his parents were doctors. He had 2 sisters and 1 brother. It was a family. He had 3 siblings all together, and they're all into their academics. They all take their academics serious. This is a valedictorian of their high school. Sports, loves chess, was just a good person in the community. As the news began to come out, the other 2 boys he were with, those were his friends, and they just got a new car. It was a car, well, it wasn't new, it was a car that was borrowed from their parents. They just got their permits, and they were all just riding, just cruising, just doing what young men do. Doing what teenagers who get their first car. They just experiencing life. They growing up. It was an illegal stop. It was an illegal stop. This stop was messed up from the beginning. They had no reason to pull them over other than, of course, they were black. They began to resist arrest when they were getting pulled out the car. As the stories unfold, now see, they ain't had all them body cams back then. We just going off word of mouth. The officers say they were resisting arrest, but nobody said, why were you arresting them in the first place? Why were they pulled over in the first place? And this is the part of the story they were covering up. Brian O'Connor never knew who the 3 boys were until the news came out and Karen got on the phone with him. Brian gets on the phone. He's all hysterical. He's all discombobulated because this is the first time he may actually get in trouble. See, all that bad stuff that he was doing, it finally caught up to his ass. It finally caught up to him. He's on the phone with Karen. He's down at the police station. All the paperwork. He had to do a whole bunch of investigations. Detectives on his ass. He's like, yeah, baby, what's going on? What's going on? He's stuttering. Yeah, baby, what's going on? She said, I'm going to need you to sit down. He said, what? Karen said, babe, I'm going to need you to sit down. He said, okay, I'm sitting down. Is everything all right? How's Lindsay? How's the house? She said, everything's fine. Lindsay's in her room. Lindsay's in her room, but I just think that just sit down and bear with me, because when I tell you this, this may make matters a whole bunch worse. He said, "What can be worse? I may be facing charges of manslaughter. What can be worse than this? They trying to pin so many charges on me. What could be worse than this?" He's like, "I need you to sit down." He said, "I'm sitting, Karen. I'm sitting." His voice get a little bit louder. "I'm sitting, Karen. I'm sitting." He said, "Listen, one of the three boys, I'm not saying you're wrong. I wasn't there, but one of the three boys that were shot was Lindsay's boyfriend." He said, What? "Yeah, the one that passed away at the scene." She said, "The valedictorian, the one that was in the chess club, the one that plays sports. His name is, he's well loved in his community, and y'all shot him." Brian O'Connor couldn't believe it. He could not believe it. Just when he thought things got bad, it went way worse. Way worse. After all the investigations, after all that have taken place, Brian O'Connor was acquitted of all charges of shooting those three teenagers, him and the other officers for shooting those three young black teenagers. All acquitted. None of them would do jail time. They had a suspension. They didn't get paid for it, but they all got suspended. They were suspended 2 to 3 weeks, and they were back on the force. 2 to 3 weeks, and they were back on the force. Lindsay and her father. Lindsay developed a routine where she barely talked to her dad. She would talk to her dad once a day. That was her routine. She would come down. She would eat breakfast with her family. She'll go to school. When she come home, she goes straight to her bedroom. And she did this for 2 years until she moved out when she was 19. Lindsay didn't talk to her father for 20 years. 20 years. She kept in contact with her mother, but she haven't spoke a word to her father in 20. After graduation, she didn't say nothing. When she graduated high school, she didn't say nothing. When she graduated college, he was not invited. She had moved on, started her own family, and she limited the visitations with the grandkids. The grandkids only go to that house, to her parents' house, ever so often. After all of this, Brian O'Connor is still stuck in his ways. He still viewed black folks the way he viewed them. And just to put it out there, there are thousands upon thousands of Brian O'Connors on the police workforce right here, right now, with a badge and a gun and a license to take someone's life. And more likely than not, they will never do time. Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what's really going on in these streets. 250 Michael Skisson Stories. I'm gone.